All right, welcome back into our continuing coverage of the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. I'm David Kelly. Pleased to be joined by the executive director of this fabulous event here in Tucson, Kym Adair. And Kym, we've got the team set for the 2022 game. We've got one team returning in Wyoming, and we've got another new team out of the Mid-American Conference in Ohio. Kind of walk me through the process of how we came to those two squads.
Yeah, we're so excited about this matchup, David, as you can imagine. We've had Wyoming here before in the past, and they're a terrific ball club, I'll tell you. They show up, their fans show up, they're excited, and they've got a really good team this year. It's a young team, and they really surpassed everybody's expectations for them this year. So we're really excited to have Wyoming back. And Ohio. Ohio is a division champion in the MAC. They've got the best record in the MAC, actually, with 9 wins. They're very excited about coming to Tucson. They've never been out here in the Southwest before, and they're looking forward to taking on Wyoming. So, the coaches are also really good friends behind the scenes. So we've got that dynamic. It's the first time they'll ever play each other on the field. So we're very excited about having that in the narrative as well. So it's going to be an amazing, amazing game.
Now, what's this inside joke that's been going on the last 24 hours between you guys, Wyoming, and beer?
Well, Wyoming has a reputation of drinking all of the beer, like on the first night. So they clear out their hotels of beer on the first night. And so making sure that we have plenty of beer in the stadium, in tailgate, and all around town and at the hotels, we just want to make sure that we are ready for Wyoming. And that's really exciting for us. I mean, they're a really fun fan base to have in town.
So they left the town dry in 2019 is what you're saying.
Yes. In a lot of ways. Yes.
That's exciting. That's exciting. Now, one question I want to ask you, because it is one that kind of a lot of people were wondering, is obviously New Mexico State became available as a bowl team late in the last week. Was there any consideration given to New Mexico State considering what they brought to this bowl game back in 2018?
We love New Mexico State and have such fond memories of when they joined us here in 2018 and that victory for them. Of course, I was getting emails and calls and questions asking that exact same question. But we've got terrific partnerships with our conferences, and New Mexico State isn't in either of our conferences any longer. They once were. And so we were really committed to our 2 conferences and making sure we're bringing those best teams from those conferences to Southern Arizona. But I'll tell you, I'm rooting for New Mexico State. I hope they do really well. They've got an amazing fan base, and I think they'll have a fun time in Detroit.
Now, how does that work from the standpoint of what you guys do? Are you specifically tied to those 2 conferences? Are you even allowed to potentially go outside of that if you wanted to?
So we are tied to our 2 conferences, but we have some flexibility built into the contract. So if it's a win-win for everybody and our conference has an opportunity to send another team that we would typically take to a different bowl, which opens up an opportunity for us to take a team from a different conference, that opportunity is built into the contract. I don't know how or when that would ever happen, but we definitely wanted that flexibility. And I'll tell you the reason why, David, is on that off chance that it would make sense for Arizona to come to our I think we always want to make sure that opportunity in case that all of the stars aligned there.
Absolutely, absolutely. They were kind of in that 5-win category there. Was that anything that opened on your radar when they got to that 5th win? Did you guys start looking at that APR to see, well, is there any opportunity we might be able to get in Arizona?
I think it's always in the back of our heads, but it's just not always realistic for us. We are a group of 5 versus group of 5 bowl game. And, the economics of that is very different than when you go into a Power 5 team. So right now we're really, really happy with the way things are with our current conferences, but we're always excited for Arizona. I mean, even if they're not coming to our bowl game, we would be excited to root them on at a different bowl game. So they're always at the top of our minds.
What was the reaction when you guys to the event, when you guys brought in Gronk, the luncheon and all of that? What kind of reaction did you guys get from that?
Oh, it was incredible. We had a sold out luncheon with over 1,000 people in attendance. And having Gronk there and his energy was just incredible. He's exactly the guy you think he is. He's such a wonderful, warm person. And it was really great for us to be able to, after a couple of tough years, to be able to have a great kickoff luncheon and bring all of our fans and friends together and get excited about our bowl game. And that's exactly what we did. And, you know, honestly, the hardest part now is trying to find someone to top Gronk for next year. But we've got all of our feelers out there.
How quickly do you want to, you mentioned that, how quickly do you want to have that person in place? Is that something you try to get that person aligned so that they can be here in that October setting?
Yeah, I mean, 2 days after our luncheon, I had a list of names up on our whiteboard. We're putting it out into the universe of the people that we would really like to have come. So we're actively looking. We're gonna, you know, take a break here for this month and focus on a ball game. But after that, we will be focusing on the great speaker for our kickoff luncheon next year.
Obviously, it was a ball game that was lost last year due to the COVID-19. Unfortunately, we are a county right now that is going through a high number of cases in COVID-19. How concerning is that to you guys right now?
You know, we're always keeping watch on those types of figures, but the way things are progressing right now, and we are an outdoor event, so that's changed too. And really, it's about what's happening with our teams and where they are, and they're taking a lot of measures to ensure that they're happy, healthy, and able to travel to our game.
Barstool, obviously, second-year relationship with them. Anything new that we can kind of let folks know about in the lead up of that week lead up to the game that's going to be fun, maybe fan interaction type situations that are outside of the norm or more Barstool related?
Yeah, you know, a lot of that's happening within the game this year. I mean, we just have so many really fun surprises that will be taking place during the game. It will be a very traditional bowl game on one hand, but also a very fun experience for the fans and very interactive. And so we're really excited about having Barstool with us here as a partner and you know, really having a big presence within the game and some of the fun things happening during the breaks. And so you gotta buy a ticket and come to the game because it's really gonna be something you don't want to miss.
And what was kind of obviously in the past, this has been a game that was on New Year's Eve. It's been shifted now to the 30th versus the 31st. What went into that, and how does that kind of maybe change the momentum of it no longer being kind of a push to New Year's Eve kind of thing?
So, you know, we've always wanted to build this game around a tradition around New Year's Eve, which is why we went to New Year's Eve. Once the CFP semifinals started playing on New Year's Eve, they don't always. But once they did, it really made us take a look at what that whole landscape looked like. And this year, you know, the 30th is on a Friday. That's when we like to normally play anyways. And we decided to move the game to the 30th on that Friday, which also gives us the opportunity to have a big wild party on Saturday, the 31st downtown at our Taco Bell New Year's Eve downtown bowl bash. And so we'll have extra days of fun related to the bowl and cap it off on New Year's Eve.
Give us a timeline of when the teams will arrive and those types of practices and festivities will begin.
Yeah, teams will start arriving on the 26th, which is terrific for our local hotel partners. And I can't imagine that their fans will be much longer after that because they like to come out. We've got some private events that we do with our players, but really the fun starts on the 29th when we have our big downtown pep rally where the bands and the spirit squads from each school will be there along with some of the school officials. And then we have our huge tailgate on the University Mall on December 30th before the game starting at 10 o'clock. We're going to have a cornhole tournament for pros and amateurs. We've got music, we've got bands, we've got our community partners will be out there in our community festival. It's just going to be a really, really great time.
All right. It is the Barstool Arizona Bowl coming up on December the 30th. Kym, as always, we appreciate you taking time to join us and best of luck as these continued weeks begin to ramp up to the big game at the end of the month.
Thanks, David.
Kym Adair, she is the executive director of the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. Stay with us here. KVOA News 4 Tucson and KVOA.com for continuing coverage of the Arizona Bowl.